Okay, we're back with another Dragon Champions video, and I was gonna make some faction videos, and I'll get to that later, but today I wanted to talk about what heroes to focus on. And there's a lot of questions with this, with any type of RPG style game, whether you are a Star Wars convert or a Strike Force convert. It's always the question of, oh, who should I focus on? Um, where do you spend all your resources, etc. So here's the main thing. It really depends on what type of gamer you are. So are you a casual one? Are you somebody that wants to be competitive with very little to no spending? Or are you just a straight up whale? I'm not going to address the people that are just straight up whales because the answer to that is the characters you're going to focus on are the ones that you can buy, and that's generally all of them. If you have unlimited funds, you can buy energy, regens, premium currency, all that kind of thing, offers in any game. So I'm not going to focus on that. So really there's two areas that I want to focus on. One is the casual player and one is the competitive player. So for the casual player, this is what I mean. You are somebody that logs in maybe once a day. Maybe you log in at the energy refreshes or the free energy time slots, which are 3 times a day. And that's it. You're not going to be spending any money, if at all, on the game, and you just generally play the game for fun. So my answer to that one is, look, you're going to focus on heroes that you like. So if you said, hey, this character looks cool, or I'm really interested in the storyline, that type of thing. But for the most part, these casual players will eventually drop off unless they do have some focus area. So with that, my recommendation is if you're going to do that, I would focus on either a faction, so either the orcs, humans, demons, it doesn't matter, pick a faction. And within that faction, you want to focus on a character that you believe you can obtain. In this case, let's take Solius, for example. You said, oh, I want to focus on the human faction. Problem is, for you to get or unlock Solius, you're going to need at least 5 orcs at 5 stars. Now, for the casual player, again, I'm talking about the casual player, this may take you months, if not many, many months, just to get to that level. By that time, most players will have lost interest and they're on to other things, if that's all they're doing. Many times I see complaints within guilds or on chat boards say, oh, I'm just in the grind now. All I'm doing is grinding and farming things. For the most casual players, if they're already at that point, they're not sticking around. So I would focus on, let's just take the human faction, for example. There are a lot of characters that you can get without much spending. So I'm not including Freezer because where you find him is really late in the game. Dawn of the Order 8-6 and Rage of the Clan 7-12. So your only options really are, hey, within here I have Darien, Robin Bad, I can farm. So for example, just focus on one character and eventually you will get them to 7 stars. The beauty of this game is that there's a couple characters that you get either from daily logins or achievements or events, even within the heroes, the human faction. So that's one Darien, and the other one is actually Little Baddie. It may take you a while. You're not going to get her to 6 stars or 7 stars, but you will have a decent level tune. So let's just say you focus on a couple characters. All you're going to do is going to be farming those characters, gearing them up, and then you're going to have a solid 5 group party. With this game to be somewhat in terms of progression, you do need a team of 5 Order and 5 Rage of the Clan. So, and back to my recommendations. The orcs are highly farmable as a faction, and even for free-to-play or casual players. Most of the achievements involve some level of getting their character shards, namely Tromgar, Ranthar, Corcoran, that type of thing. You will be able to get a strong orc team. And if you're only focused on, say, 5 orcs and then 5 order related characters, you're probably some combination of some elves, early characters like Sharp or Master Duo in terms of pandas and Fow. Those are decently strong characters. You'll be middling competitive and at least be able to enjoy the game. Okay, so there's my spiel on casual players. So now here's the, oh, and I'm a competitive player. Now I saw your video and, I disagree. That's great. With all of these games, understand this. The game is a business. The developers are in the business of making money. So today's meta or today's characters that you're going to focus on, in 90 days, 1 or 2 of those characters are going to drop off your proverbial tier list. Yes, you will still have characters that have longevity. Those are your legendary characters like Solius or future unlocks such as Mordoom, prior characters that I have yet to unlock, such as General Murdoch, for example, Ember. Those are the characters that have staying power. Eventually, though, you could be a year from now, they will be overtaken by new characters that aren't even developed yet. That's just how the life cycle of these games go. You have the whales that support the bulk of your cost spend to develop the game, and you have those of us that are competitive and maybe spend a few dollars a month on it that help sustain the general community. It's those individuals that are creating message boards, YouTube videos, all of that. So there is no quote unquote right or wrong character to focus on because the meta will change. Having said that, of course, there are ones that are quote unquote meta at the time. It's just you have to balance out how long it's going to take you to achieve a very competitive roster. So for example, if you looked at Arena right now, and in my current server, the top teams are Solius, Nighteel, Freezard, Cruel, and Ember. 2 of those are legendary characters. So unless you have the makeup of team that can unlock Solius and Ember, you're not going to get what this person has here, which is a geared 11, fully decked out, 6-star abilities, and a max star character. And look at the rune set. You have a variety of epic runes. So if your goal is to be in the top 5 of the arena, and I know there's a few people that'll say, oh, I'm free to play, I'm in top 5, maybe. But for the most part, in my experience with all these games, the people that are in the top of anything, I'm talking top 3, top 5, they are spending a lot of money on these games. So look at the other characters. Nighteel, where are you gonna farm her? She's a late game farm. Same thing with Freezard, unless you spend a few dollars early on. Cruel again. So if you're seeing a trend here, it's the best characters in the game require either a lot of time investment or some middle to a lot of money, real world money investment to get there. So when you're looking at tier lists, you have to really think about how much time I'm going to spend on the game and how much money I want to spend on the game, but also what's the longevity of the character. So when you look in this specific game, a good sign as to what the longevity of the character is, and in most games, are actually how many abilities do they have. Here's a good example. Legendary character, you have 5 different abilities. But other characters have 4. Is it a general rule of thumb to say, hey, you have 5 abilities, then you have some sort of longevity? I would argue yes. You may have some characters that currently people would say are not great characters, but again, developers are in the business to make money. If they look at rebalancing and they see there are certain characters that have very low usage and they had the stats here. Popularity 91%. Soleus is used everywhere, but there's some lesser characters that don't and aren't used often. They may tweak a couple abilities, and sooner or later you have the greater game community go, oh, with this retooling, this person is now in the new meta. That happens all the time. So just be cautious, putting all your eggs in one basket to say, oh, I'm going to focus everything on this one character, knowing that in a couple months' time, could be disappointed and they're not even on your main roster. So just doing a very quick check on the heroes through. If I'm scrolling through and looking at people with 5 abilities, Soleus is somebody that's used often. You've got Nighteel, again, 5 abilities, and you're going to say, well, duh, the ones with 5 abilities are the ones that have the leader, basically leader trait. So why don't we save ourselves time? And here's the ones with the leader trait. And I'm going to go through the list, and those of you that play this game, you're going to be able to tell me, yeah, you're right. They do have multi-facet usage within the game modes, and I have seen these characters often. Soleus, Nighteel, Rantha, Tromgar, Patriarch. Those are staple, what you would call high, either in the top tier or right below. Kinley, same thing. Revel, underused in most aspects of the game except for an arena. When you level his ability up, he has probably the greatest AoE damage burst if the opponent is bleeding. Darien, great mid tier character, free to play, but not a bad leader ability, considering it doesn't matter if you have clan or order, but if you are order class, you have some extra perks. Hera, if you are creating a pride team, she's probably going to be your lead. Major Shot, again, it's a goblin team. If you have a goblin team, you may be using him. So Slinger, you see on all top tier arena teams right now. Zera, soon for me to unlock. Lake, very rarely used that I see, but I can see a retooling, or when more pandas come, mainly maybe red pandas, I could see him eventually being on top tier teams. So you get my point. General Murdoch, Thalain, Shadar, and Buff, all strong characters that have low usage rates because not many people have unlocked them, but I believe have longevity in the game. So in summary, yes, there are characters today that are stronger than others, and people will say, hey, why aren't you focusing on this character? They're the best, they're in the meta. I get it, but a good example that I mentioned in a previous video is Cruel. Hey, yes, I agree. She is in the current meta, top tier character, awesome. But do I feel like I can farm her fast enough because she's only available in one node and for premium currency up to a star level that matches the rest of my team? No, I don't. She's 4 stars now. By the time, if I can farm 3 shards a day, I'm still missing hundreds of shards. It's going to take me the better part of half a year just to get her to 7 stars, unless I spend money or I get lucky with premium chests. So for me, based on the time that I spend on the game, I'm going to slowly build somebody like that up. But no, I agree, she is one of the best characters today. So if you're a casual player, pick 5 characters that you like. You're going to get a lot of free characters just through achievements and playing the game. And you're going to have a decent team and have fun with the game. If you want to be competitive in raids, then yeah, there's a select group of characters that that are widely used. Focus on those if you can, but just don't be surprised if in 90 days the meta changes and some of those characters may not be on your active roster. So if you agree, leave a comment below, and maybe throw me a subscribe, and I will see you with the next video, probably some faction videos. Thanks.